riding in the rain can be a challenge. So I asked our friends at the Rider Training Institute to give us some tips on wet weather riding. So I'm here with Steve Keith with RTI. Steve's the lead instructor. Looking forward to talking to Steve as we talk about some of the skills riders need to stay safe on the roads under any conditions.
Correct.
So I like riding, and on a day like today is a perfect day to ride.
Perfect. Perfect.
Sometimes that doesn't work out so good. You get caught in a rainstorm. So when that happens, we all know that bikes not going to behave the same, cars aren't going to behave the same. What are some of the things people should be watching for or doing differently when they get caught in the rain?
Well, our students do have a lot of apprehension with riding in the rain, and I think a lot of people do. It's hard to get over that feeling of riding in the rain because we think about so much loss of traction. But the tires nowadays are fairly grippy, and they have that tread pattern that dispels all the water. So we still have a lot of traction left in our tires. But the best point I can probably give all our students is when it's wet out, same as when we drive our car, how we ride our motorcycles, we have to slow down. We do have to slow down slightly. We don't have to be at a crawl, but we do have to take things slower. We have to be much, much smoother on our controls. So that's either engaging or disengaging the clutch on the front or rear brakes. Everything has to be much smoother, much slower. We have to do our setup work a little earlier. And if I'm following a vehicle, normally I'm 2 to 3 seconds behind a car on a beautiful day like today. But when it's wet out, I really do have to think about increasing my following distance. So maybe I'm 5 and 6 seconds back. And if you can be 7 and 8 and we're not holding traffic up, then even so much the better. Yeah. The next thing people do when they, which is a bad point when they do rain riding, the second the rain comes down, people tense up. So everything, the shoulders go up, the grips get a little tighter, and motorcycles don't like to have that done to them. They want to be able to move, and you want to be able to let that motorcycle kind of go where it wants to a degree. We're always controlling it, but we don't want to fight the motorcycle. So relax. As much as I say that, you have to be able to relax and be just much smoother. Set up for that corner earlier than maybe what you would do on a dry situation. The other one would be the biggest one, and this would go for dry weather, for new riders and all riders alike, is to look much farther down. So when it rains, people tend to look at the next puddle and look down 5 seconds ahead, and then we really never have that time to react. We're always just reacting for that little situation, and then eventually that may catch up to us. So we want to look as far forward as possible. When we do that, what happens? Everything comes at us much slower. And then we have that time, much more time to react, to be smoother, to watch for the colorful puddle that we don't want to hit, or just the puddle and we go, hey, let's go through that puddle. But when it's raining, we never know how deep that puddle is. Yeah. So we want to always look down and go, hey, there's a dry patch. Let's aim for that. So I think it's really just relaxing, getting that mindset of having that, and also having the proper gear.
Well, and that was one of the ones I was going to raise. Is it's gear so that you're not getting soaked, but it's also gear so that you're being seen in the rain, because the car's visibility is reduced.
The rain is splattering. It's generally probably foggy, etc. Different times of years, and yes, you want to be visible as much as possible. A lot of vehicles here really don't even expect people to be out in the rain. They go, why is a motorcycle out in the rain? That's just silly.
So
but we're there.
A couple real quick ones. Painted lines, railway tracks, and it just started raining. Are those kind of the three of the worst situations in the wet?
They are the worst ones. So when it just started raining, if I'm out raining, I may go to a coffee shop and grab a coffee. I'm going to wait for that 15 minutes because from all the stuff and crap from the cars dropping down and just over the years, this is when all the oil and all the crap will come up from that, and that's the slipperiest time. Let the rain do its job, wash the road away, and then we have some grip. This is not hydroplaning or flooding. This is just a regular wet pavement road. It's good. So we'll wait for a little while. The painted lines and the big white arrows for left-hand turn lanes for all the cars to see, They're the ones that scare us the most.
Or the
tar
frickin'
snakes,
chevrons that they put?
The chevrons. All those things. That's why my last comment, what I said, if you can look much farther down to actually visualize that and see that, and you have either time to set up, either to avoid it, ride in the tire track of the car. That's generally the driest part. All the tire spreads the water out. If we can get there, then that's the best. If not, if we have to ride over the painted lines, then this is where we want to be ultra smooth.
Just be really gentle on your moves.
Gentle.
No quick turns, don't jump on the brakes because it scared you.
That's why we have to be able to relax. We don't want to be sharp on our controls. We want to keep the bike a little more upright. Maybe we lean a little bit and the bike stays upright a little bit going around that. And turn your head and just go over it. You will be over that painted line or the railway track in like 1 or 2 seconds, and it's all over. Do your setup work before. If not, you really don't do much while you're on those. And railway tracks are slippery when they're wet.
And you want to take them at straight lines as much as possible.
As much as possible, as perpendicular as possible, and we can look for that sign that's on the right-hand side of the road. It will tell you which way the railway track is going. We don't have to wait until 5 feet and go, oh my goodness, this track is on a 45-degree angle.
Thank you, Steve.
Hey, no problem. It was a pleasure talking to you.